Political commentator Charlie Kirk was murdered today in cold blood. It sparked a lot of social commentary about whether or not people should be murdered because of their political views and the things that they say in connection to their political views. We're going to talk about it because I think that we need to talk about it. There's a bigger thing happening here in culture, and it's a conversation that I'm determined to have. This morning, a friend of mine texted me that Charlie Kirk was shot. Now, a little bit of background. I'm an independent. I am not a liberal. I am not a conservative, but there are a lot of people that I watch on extremes of both ends, and Charlie Kirk is one of them. Actually, I don't know how much I'm able to say, but there's a strong possibility that I'm booked for something that might have even been where I was going to debate him in a couple of weeks from the time that I'm filming this right now was the day that he died. So I was excited that I might be able to see him soon and debate him, especially on his views regarding the LGBT community. He does say a lot of things that I don't agree with the LGBT community. But having said that, when I heard that he was shot, my immediate thought was, well, first, is he, oh, that's horrible. That's terrible. That's scary. Is he okay? Is he going to survive? Where was he shot? I had all these questions. So I'm Googling it. There wasn't really a lot that I was able to find other than that he was at this Utah, I believe, university, and that the crowd was, I mean, it was like a film, right? Like you hear gunshots. I mean, that's what would happen. People just panic and they were trying to leave. It is just terrifying. A little bit later around my lunch break, I had seen the video where he was shot. It was a close-up. Now, I don't know if it was, I've heard that maybe it was AI because there was a lot of blood, but I saw a larger scale video of him being shot. It was so graphic and so violent. It did something to me. It just messed with my head. You think I just saw the movie Smile too, which probably wasn't very bright. I just sat there pacing. My heart was racing like all of us. I'm thinking he has a wife. He has kids. It reminded me of the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, right? Several months back. And I'm just thinking, what is this world coming to where people are losing their lives because of political reasons? And then it started to become more and more apparent as I got off work and went on social media for real. We had learned that he had died, but then I saw all of this backlash and all of these people were talking about how he deserved it. People are stomping on his graves. They're spitting on his graves. And I just thought, what world are we living in where that is the response to somebody that died? And I'm not trying to come across as some holier than thou person, okay? I'm not. I'm deeply flawed. I have my own issues. I'm very human. But for me, when I hear that somebody died or somebody is got a terminal illness diagnosis or they're missing, they're kidnapped or something, my first thought is not, well, they're this skin color, or they're this orientation, or they're of this political affiliation. My first thought is they're a human being. They need to be found. If they're hurt, they need to get help. If they're killed, their poor family. That's where my mind goes. And it kind of started to mess with me that so many people are not there. For them, they can't separate the person. I call it the who and the do. They can't separate the person from their beliefs, their political views and their beliefs, or even what they've said. And that to me is very scary because all of us have views that somebody else will find offensive or close-minded or whatever, because we're so divided, right? You can't really have a view these days anymore without somebody on the polar opposite end of your view that would view you as contributing to the problem or whatever. And it has become so apparent today that people just don't know how to love a person regardless of their views. I think about the people that I strongly disagree with politically. There's one in particular that I won't name her, but she was, how do I say this? She currently is or was on the show The View. And every time I saw her, see her, or whatever, my blood boils. I do kind of think that everything that comes out of her mouth is contributing to some great problem in society. There's another person who had their own show and then they lost their show. And I'll be happy to say that I did rejoice when they lost their show, because I thought, okay, now they don't have the opportunity they have daily to infect the minds of millions of people with this really harmful, toxic rhetoric. Now they're going to have to find some other job, and yay, right? But should either one of these people enter the news because they were kidnapped or they were sexually assaulted or they were murdered or something, my first instinct would not be to celebrate. My first instinct would be, oh my gosh, are they okay? Oh my gosh, I hope that they're found. So many of my friends began messaging me when the whole Charlie Kirk thing happened. They were just like, oh my gosh, Gilbert, good riddance, right? And then they started seeing that I was posting about it. They're like confused. Wait, what? You know that he's super anti-gay. You know that he's super... I'm like, what does that have to do with the fact that this man just died? The fact that this man just got shot? I don't understand it. I don't understand how your first initial thought is to completely separate his humanity and make this about his political beliefs or something that he said one time or maybe multiple times. This person just got killed. This person was just murdered. How is there anything coming out of your mouth other than that is horrifying? That is scary. I think we're entering a season politically, socially, where violence is, I mean, it's almost like we're going backwards, right? This reminds me of like primitive times, like cavemen, you know, they would just fight to the death because, you know, oh, I want Jane. No, I want Jane. Other caveman number 1, caveman number 2, and they beat to the death to whoever survives gets Jane. And then hopefully they discover fire or something. Like, that's just, to me, aren't we supposed to have advanced beyond that? I know that there are still wars. I know that people still fight. And there is something about the human condition where we're just going to probably always be that way. But I'd like to think that we're progressing. I'd like to think that we are having more tolerance towards one another. And ironically, I'm going to say it, okay? I'm going to say it. The most intolerant people, the people that are the most praising the death of Charlie Kirk, are from the group that's supposed to be tolerant. How ironic. I remember when James Dobson died. I remember when Pat Robertson died. I remember when Donald Trump was almost assassinated. I remember when Rush Limbaugh died. A lot of people from the tolerant camp all of a sudden we're not so tolerant, and we're jumping on their graves and talking about how wonderful it was. And, oh, darn, you had one job, gunman, you missed Trump. And I'm just thinking, you're supposed to be tolerant. And, you know, and then a lot of these people call those individuals Nazis. And yet that is the behavior of a Nazi, is to eradicate somebody that you think is wrong or shouldn't exist. You kill them. You take them out. That is what a real Nazi is. So the gunman that did this to Charlie Kirk fits that description more than Charlie Kirk ever did, because Charlie Kirk did not try to eradicate people, did not try to kill people. The one who ended his life did. It's just the biggest irony to me. It's the biggest contradiction to me, and it's alarming. And I would like for us to have a conversation about it. I don't have all the answers. I don't know how we're going to solve this problem, but I'd like to acknowledge that it is a problem. We're tearing each other apart. We're not growing. We're actually going backwards. And if we're not careful, we're going to head into a civil war. I actually thought that we were going to when Jesse Smollett did his whole self-hate crime against himself. I actually thought that he was going to kick off the civil war there. But I think that we're headed towards there, and it will be the fault of the hyper radical tolerant crowd, because I think that that is where a lot of the violence actually is coming from. It doesn't mean that it's all coming from there. Well, Gilbert, what about? No, there's violence from everyone on all sides. But I would say predominantly culturally, it does feel like it's coming more from the not so tolerant community that apparently I belong to because I'm gay and brown, but I'm an independent no matter what. Anyway, I just thought that I would get on here to talk a little bit about this. This conversation didn't go exactly how I had planned. I was very emotional. Like I said, I was on the verge of a panic attack most of my day at work today. It was not fun. And then I did get into a lot of, I won't say fights, but it was fictitious between me and different friends today because they had a hard time being compassionate towards this person who was just shot and then later found out they were murdered. And I didn't understand that. It put me at odds with them. I actually felt like I don't know that I could feel safe around them, because if I ever disagree with them, you know, or something, then are they going to wish that I died? Does that mean they're going to want to wish me physical harm? And if I'm somebody that agrees with the idea of free speech, that even if I disagree with it, people should have the right to have free speech, that includes my opponents. That includes my political adversaries and people that I strongly disagree with. And like I said, there's a lot that I strongly disagree with Charlie Kirk, but I don't want him dead. I'm devastated that he's dead. I'm devastated that he was shot. I think that's completely unacceptable. I'd like to know what your thoughts are. If you've seen the comments about how people are rejoicing in this terrible moment and how that's making you feel, you're not alone. It is a scary time to see that people are just that okay with violence now. If you are that kind of person that's like, yeah, Gilbert, I kind of think that he had it coming, I'll say this, and it's not very kind, but it is the truth. You believing that he was a monster, so he had it coming, he got what he got because of karma, that makes you more of a monster than anything that Charlie has ever done or said. And that's the great irony of it all. Something to think about. Don't be a monster. Don't rejoice when somebody falls. Don't rejoice when somebody's murdered or somebody's held captive or there's an assassination attempt. Don't say, oh, you missed. You had one job. That doesn't look well for you. That makes you worse than anything that that person could have done. Don't mean to end on a sour note, but today was kind of a sour day and I'm just trying to make sense out of it. This is what I do. I offer political commentary. I do reactions to fun videos too. And I just like to have open dialogue and I share my thoughts quite honestly. I don't have any allegiance to any political party. So with me, I'm a very what you hear is what you get kind of person. And I shoot from the heart. So I love you. I'll say it. God bless you. And I do hope that I see you in the next video, and hopefully the next topic will not be so dark. But may Charlie Kirk rest in peace. And my prayers go out to his friends and family and his colleagues and all of his supporters and all of his fans and all that ever knew him. And to everybody else that's just affected by the darkness of what happened to him. My prayers are with you. I love you. Bye-bye.